Good evening, special guests, parents. It's such a pleasure to welcome you on this rather warm evening to our culmination and celebration for the class of 2023. Before we do proceed, it's my opportunity one last time this year to play flight attendant, if you will, just for a few moments, as there are a couple of important safety announcements to bring to your attention. The first relates to safety and emergency procedures. Should there be an alarm and we have to evacuate, then there are 4 exits, 2 at the back where you came in, and there's also doors at the side. Secondly, I would appreciate it if you can set your phone to silent. And while I mention phones, I know that many of you will want to get a treasured image of this graduation, but we do have Anna here this evening as a photographer to capture pictures of this special event, so you don't have to worry to feel that you have to come into close to the stage to get a photograph. We have that taken care of for you. You may have also noticed that we have our media crew live streaming this event to friends and families around the world. So to you tuning in, wherever you are, welcome to our Graduation 2023. And if you are taking photographs where you're sitting, please make sure that the flash is turned off. Please also note that we've got refreshments set up for you in the cafeteria after this event if you'd like to join us. But we ask that there's no food or drink here inside the theatre. At the end of the ceremony, I do ask you to stay in your seats until the graduates have left, so that we can get them out and get ready for a celebration. And this evening, because it is so warm, we will have the doors open out the back. If you want to have your refreshments outside, please feel free. So now that we're ready to begin the ceremony, I would ask that you stand and welcome the graduating class of 2023. Thank you. Please be seated. and welcome to the class of 2023. I'd like to start this evening by introducing our special guests sitting at the front of the stage, the Board of Governors, led by Åshild Larsen, Chair of the Board, and our keynote speaker this evening, an ISS alumni, Victor Lund Shamas, and of course, welcome to our graduating class of 2023 sitting here on the stage. Special mention too to our esteemed faculty that have spent countless hours guiding, sharing, and directing these students towards success. And I dare say, occasionally, some cajoling and berating, whatever it takes to get us over the finishing line. Graduation is such a key event for us here, as it marks not only the end of the year, but also the formal recognition of the effort and determined focus of our graduating class. The class of 23 will leave this theatre tonight as different people. For many, the description student will persist for a few years as they venture off to universities around the world. But it's safe to say that the experience will be different. Some of our graduating class have been here throughout their entire schooling at ISS, while others have joined at various points through the years. But either way, as we reflect on our memories of first walking through the high school, what at first may have appeared as some unfamiliar and daunting place has, over the years, become a home from home. A place where friendships have blossomed and where lessons, both literal and metaphorical, have been learned. If classrooms could talk, they would doubtless have stories of camaraderie and of challenges overcome. And as our graduates venture off into different parts of the world, it's worth remembering that every new place is initially unfamiliar and daunting. Some of you may be walking into lecture halls of hundreds of students, or you may be awed by the scale of university, whereas for others, a workplace may be having different expectations and may initially feel overwhelming. When you feel anxious by these new experiences, remember that you have learned the necessary skills to navigate new territory, and in time, it too will become familiar. Be courageous in asking for help when you need it, and intentional in committing yourself to excellence. For some young adults, this graduation marks the start of a new path or a commencement. For some, the freedom of adulthood may be dizzying, and without the guardrails of a nurturing school, it's easy perhaps to go off the rails and venture down pathways in search of excitement or instant gratification. Oftentimes, life in universities or work doesn't come with the same level of careful oversight that you've had while in school. While you may have occasionally wanted to rebel or push back against the teachers and tutors who've prompted you, reminded you of deadlines, or cajoled you to get work in, adult study or work is often much less forgiving. And so as you reflect on your graduation and the journey that has been 13 years of schooling, I hope you can take a moment to recognize the diligent efforts of all the other students and staff around you who've helped guide your development over the years. I believe that our ISS diploma programs helps prepare our graduates to think critically about issues that surround them in the local and global environments, and helps to develop skills and understanding about complex social and economic challenges that will hopefully be the bedrock for analyzing future scenarios. I reflected on the messages from the baccalaureate ceremony on Tuesday. Mr. Safri shared stories of hard-fought battles and getting knocked down time and time again, which reminded me of a quote by the world champion boxer Muhammad Ali. "You don't lose if you get knocked down. You lose if you stay down." Or, put another way, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. All that matters is how many times you get up. But reflecting on the other speakers at the baccalaureate, who were very eloquent, I must say, there were common themes in the messages of the bonds of the class of 2023, of real friendship and learning experiences shared, but also self-evident were the values of tolerance and acceptance, and the ability to recognize and celebrate and to work with people's strengths. And when I try to imagine all the life skills learned through the participation in the productions each year, being in bands, in sports teams, MUN delegations, and countless other trips and experiences, it's easy to see how these memories will stay with you for a lifetime. Parents, guests, faculty and staff, as you see these fine young people on stage, I'm sure you, like me, feel a swelling of pride this evening. Take a deep breath and recognize the moment, the marking of the point at which they transition into the next phase of their lives and careers and the commencement of their adulthood. It's my hope that every one of them will become active members of the ISS alumni and to keep in touch with each other. Attending an ISS alumni event this last weekend was a reminder that no matter where you go from here, there are shared memories and camaraderie that can be found through our alumni network. And to you, our graduating class, remember that every moment is part of shaping your future and setting your destiny. There will be challenges ahead, and there will be temptation in many forms. There'll be technological advances that may be opportunities for riches or a pathway to cheat or to procrastinate. The inner voice that's your moral compass that you've developed here and the concepts of academic honesty and rigor will guide you, but only if you listen. So my simple advice to you is to set a goal, a clear and simple goal that will help you decide if your actions are helpful in achieving your stated objectives, and make sure you get up after every setback or disappointment. And so, this evening, I congratulate our class of 2023, and I wish them all the very best of luck in determining their futures. I'd like to invite a high school principal, Ms. Hulks, to introduce the next salutatorian.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. The salutatorian is awarded to the second highest achieving student in the entire graduating class. The salutatorian offers the salutation or greeting for the commencement. This year's salutatorian, Rihanna Gillescu, has consistently been a very strong academic student throughout her years at ISS. Yesterday, she was honoured as one of the 5 students who had attended ISS from kindergarten to 12th grade. Rihanna plans to attend University of Southampton to study marine biology, and one of her past science teachers commented that she always knew Rihanna was going to be great in science when she brought in a photograph showing chemical equations inscribed on the beach in the biggest font she had ever seen. Her IB maths teacher comments that as well as her own success in this subject, she spends considerable time helping others to achieve their potential. As well as science, Rihanna has a real passion for history, with her essays demonstrating excellent insight and synthesis. Her academic achievements across all subject areas are extremely impressive, showing her hard work and dedication throughout her 13 years at ISS. Please welcome this year's salutatorian, Rihanna Gillescu.
Good evening, parents, teachers, and especially the class of 2023. Our school is an international school, which means it often acts as a way station. People come for a few years and then move away. It means that for those of us that have been in this school for our whole academic lives, as I have had a lot of friends come and go. So many that it takes a while sometimes to remember their names when looking through old yearbooks. The people you see here today are only a fraction of us graduating from here. But all of those that have been with us before are graduating with us from schools all over the world. The thing that all of us and them have in common is our time spent here. Those of us who have been here longer have watched as we have grown and changed as a grade, to the point where, for some of us, we have reached the finish line with people that we've grown up with. But today is the day that when our hard work up until now is recognized. The day where we thank those that has helped us along the way. Whether it be those that supported us, taught us, or even those that just helped us laugh through the years. And for some of us, it's also the day that we say goodbye to those who made our lives harder. Those who discouraged us and treated some of us like problems. Obstacles that we had to overcome and are now stronger because of it. Most of all, for everyone here, no matter how long they may have attended this school, this will be our last memory together in this school. A culmination of all of those that have come before. Going to Trollskogen as little kids, going out to a Chinese restaurant together, playing kickball with our teachers instead of doing math, going to Gulligan, Fevik, Hardanger, and Trysil and pulling every shenanigan we could think of on those trips, beach days and locker wars and, well, fire alarms. I mean, if you know, you know. And all fond memories that we take today to remember. We graduate to commemorate our academic success, but I think that all of us aren't thinking of our exams or assessments right now, but of each other. Each of our friends and our time spent in these halls. The thing is that now, this beginning, this change in our lives is when anything is possible. Now, I know that's a pretty cliche thing to say, but hear me out. People who have had regrets in their lives, who wish that they could have done something different or tried something that they always wanted to, look back at this moment. When they had just graduated high school, when they were young and strong, the moment where all paths stem from. They look back at this moment and say, if only I had done something different. Now, I know this sounds kind of scary and nerve-wracking, a big pressure to know what to choose so that you don't regret it later in life, but that's not the way to look at it. Look around you. We are in that moment right now. The one that so many people wish that they could change. You have that freedom now to choose what you want to do, what goals you want to reach, and what things you want to achieve. You have that chance to go for and plan for that now. Many of us may not know what we want to do yet, but be inspired and take comfort in the fact that you are in that moment where everything is open to you. None of us knows where we'll end up 10 years from now. Some of us don't even know what tomorrow brings, but we will all be taking life the same way, one step at a time. The first of which is graduating with the class of 2023. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech, Rihanna. Like you, we are excited to see where the class of 2023 are in 10 years' time. As Rihanna says, we have no idea what the future will bring, so we just have to take one step at a time. I would now like to welcome the high school choir, who will be performing Seasons of Love by Jonathan Larson, accompanied by ISS music director, Mr. Seamus O'Brien, playing the keyboard, and one of our high school teachers, Mr. Eric Iverson, playing the bass guitar.
Thank you to the choir and to Mr. O'Brien, supported by Mr. Iveson, for that lovely piece. And so now I'd like to introduce our guest of honor this evening, Victor Lundshamas, an ISS alumni from 2005. Imagine that. He sat right where you're sitting right now, 18 years ago. He graduated with 44 points. So that gives you some idea of his academic prowess. Interestingly, checking his yearbook page, there is no name for his section, just a very poignant quote from Mark Twain, which I'll share with you. It says, "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education." So perhaps it gives some insight into how he was beginning to think 18 years ago. After leaving ISS, he studied at the University of Oslo for a bachelor's degree, followed by an MPhil and a PhD. He's now Associate Professor of Sociology and Head of the Department of Sociology and Social Work at the University of Agder here in Norway. He's spoken at several prestigious universities, including Stanford and Berkeley, and our MUN participants will know that we had the privilege of listening to him with his keynote address at our latest Scanman event. And so it's with a real sense of excitement and intrigue that I introduce you this evening to our guest of honor, Victor Lundshamas.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Mr. Bishop. I really appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to come back here all these years later. I mean, I was on the stage, as you mentioned earlier. I was here in 2005, essentially a graduate like you, and so it feels kind of incredible to be back. It feels like kind of a full circle closing. You know, Winston Churchill, the statesman and the writer, once spoke at a graduation in the U.S., and he opened his speech with the words, "I'm going to give a long speech today. I haven't had time to prepare a short one." Well, don't worry, I have had time to prepare, so I won't be giving a very long speech. I'll try to keep my remarks brief. First of all, I want to commend all of you graduates of 2023 for completing high school during some of the toughest years we as a human species have faced, probably since the Second World War. The past year we've had as you know, the Ukraine war with its untold civilian suffering, specter of nuclear disaster. We've had rising food and energy prices around the world. The past month we've seen parts of our planet kind of sizzle under rising temperatures from global climate change. Parts of southern Norway haven't seen rain in several weeks, coming on a month now. And finally, the global pandemic, COVID, interrupted all of our lives. And while, you know, fortunately Stavanger and Norway passed through relatively unscathed through those times, we did have lockdowns and masks and all the fear and uncertainty of global disarray, same as everybody else. So your fortitude in completing your education in the midst of all of this, you know, with the aid of your teachers and parents, of course, but is really something you can be proud of for the rest of your lives. So I know it must have taken a lot. At the outbreak of World War II back in 1940, the same Winston Churchill, now Prime Minister of Great Britain, he promised his people he would offer up blood, toil, sweat, and tears. And while I hope, of course, that things didn't go quite so far I do know that the IB program in particular is notoriously tough. So make sure that you take a well-deserved break, relax and recover before your next challenges and adventures. So I completed the IB program here in ISS in 2005. I don't think I've ever worked as hard in my life as in those years. Preparing, sitting for the IB exams, as many of you know, is a real challenge. So take comfort in the fact that for many of you, kind of the hardest months and years of your academic careers are actually in a way behind you. You know, from here on out, it does get a little bit easier, I think. So I attended this school for 9 years myself, and those years are the rock and the foundation on which I've built the rest of my life. I had wonderful teachers here like Mr. Hans Christian Ness, Mr. Wim Kierman, Miss Wallace, Miss Park, to name some of those who are still here, and Dr. Duval, who was director here for several decades. These were and are incredible people and incredible teachers, and there are so many other great teachers here now, and I'm confident that a good teacher is a rare thing indeed in this world today, and yet this school has plenty of them, incredibly enough. I've spent more than 30 years in schools and universities around the world, either as a student or as a lecturer and professor, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I draw upon the skills that I learned in ISS classes with teachers like Mr. Ness and Mr. Kierman. I draw upon those skills each and every day. You know, reading, thinking, taking notes, writing essays, formulating arguments, and synthesizing information. So draw upon this well of rich knowledge that you've been given here. The thing about ISS is you might not realize it today, this evening, but how fortunate you were to have been here. It might take many years for this basic truth to sink in, that this school is a rare jewel indeed in this world, and so carry its riches with you wherever you go. I'd like to recount just a few other things that I've kind of learned over the years since graduating in 2005, some pearls of wisdom, if you will, or some little nuggets of lessons that life has taught me. First lesson is really don't trust too much in figures of authority. You know, professors, bosses, political leaders, experts. It might come as a surprise to you to learn that people in positions of power don't always know what they're talking about. It took me about 30 years on this planet to realize that many people, perhaps most of the time, are sort of bumbling along, improvising as they go. Older people are not necessarily wiser, they're better at putting up a facade of knowledgeability. So even esteemed heads of state and political leaders don't necessarily know everything, and I've met some of them. I won't mention any names, but you know, there's no kind of grand scheme out there, coordinated plan, and so most people get really good at improvising. So from this, I think you can derive a basic lesson. Don't be too impressed by authority, right? Dare to stake out on your own. Ask fair but tough questions of people who are in the know, you know, the bosses, the professors, and the political and religious authorities, and so on. So that's one lesson. Second lesson, slight change of gear, call your parents every Sunday or some other meaningful day of the week in your tradition or culture. I heard this piece of advice at my own sister's graduation back in 2000, so it's a lesson that stood me in reasonably good stead over the years. It's good to check in regularly with your family. I know your family will probably appreciate it. ISS is an international community. We're a group of globetrotters viewed as a whole, and many of you may very well be on different continents from your parents or guardians in the coming years. So call, you know, every Sunday, some day of the week, check in, hear their voice. Don't just text. You know, there's value in hearing each other's voices. As a species, we're kind of uniquely tuned into voices. So why is this important? Because your family will help you keep grounded as you go off to college, university, or work in a new, strange environment. Take a moment to call. Third life lesson, if I can put in those bold terms, use your mind. Use your mind. Now, this won't come as news, of course. A group of ISS graduates have been through a rigorous intellectual program, but the mind is a wonderful gift. You know, the brain, physicists say that the brain is likely the most complex structure in the known physical universe. And when you're young, your brain kind of acts like a sponge. It can absorb a huge amount of information almost effortlessly in a way that older people simply can't anymore. As we get older, our minds kind of calcify, they ossify, and it becomes harder for us to learn new things and consider new ideas. So when you're young, you know less. You may know less, but you're more open to the truly new. And you can read for long hours at a time. Your eyesight is still good. Your back and your neck won't ache as much as when you get older, probably. And so take advantage of that opportunity of being young and having a receptive mind. Fourth lesson, if you have to choose between what we might call blind ambition on the one hand and kindness on the other hand, always choose kindness. Right? It's better to do good than to be successful in the eyes of the world. So I'm not going to lie to you, many of you will face a wildly competitive world. The New York Times recently reported that the software company Adobe recruited a group of 600 interns out of a pool of 100,000 candidates. So the top 0.6%. So the world is very selective these days. Nevertheless, when all is said and done, I think it's better to be kind than to be rich, powerful, or successful in the eyes of the world. So there are huge kind of temptations awaiting all of you out there. Power, money, fame, honor, prestige. Nothing wrong with any of those in and of themselves. You need money to pay your rent and bills and so on, things you've been probably spared for the most part up until this moment. Faced with a choice between goodness and power, money, fame, or any of the other conventional prizes of the world, make the right choice. You'll like yourself more afterwards. What's it all about, finally? Does anyone even know? We don't necessarily know. Anyone who tells you they hold the secret keys to the universe is probably a false guru or prophet, more likely than not. I was in this very auditorium a couple of months ago for the MUN conference invited by Mr. Ness, and I mentioned there a concept that I want to repeat today that I learned from that great tradition of Jewish theology. 2 words in Hebrew that I think are worth repeating. The words are tikkun olam. What does it mean? It means heal the world, healing or repairing the world. Some people call it social justice. They translate it with the term social justice, but I prefer the literal sense, repairing of the world. The world is, in many ways, broken, as I'm sure many of you have discovered through your studies. And when things break, we should try to fix them. You are, unfortunately, I might say, entering a somewhat broken, somewhat dysfunctional world, a world of climate change, huge inequalities of wealth and income. We have an economy that's built on greed, profit maximization, the burning of oil and natural gas, which is literally killing our planet. We are in a world where a growing number of people struggle to find meaning. They seek easy answers in the form of right-wing extremism, hatred, and polarization. And so there are huge, significant tasks awaiting all of you as you head out into the world outside of ISS. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. We read in that great book of the Western tradition, the Gospel of Matthew. So there's a lot that needs doing out there. We need all of you to help fix or repair this world. But I'm filled with an overwhelming sense of confidence in the knowledge that this school, with its excellent teachers, administrators, faculty, or staff, they've equipped you with the know-how and the wherewithal to help repair this world. And so we're all counting on you to make a difference. Thank you for your attention.
I would like to thank Victor for taking the time to share such inspiring words with the class of 2023. It's always special for our students to have the opportunity to learn from our alumni, and we really appreciate your contribution this evening, so thank you. We now get to the part that brought us all here. the awarding of the ISS High School diplomas. Our high school counsellor, Miss Holly Highbine, will be reading out the name of each candidate. Lynn Park, our IBDP and IGCSE coordinator, and Thomas Howard, one of our high school mathematics teachers, will be reading a brief comment from each student. The chair of the ISS board, Miss Orsild Hannah Larson, will be congratulating each student on receiving their diploma. When called by name, the individual student will proceed to the front of the stage. Students, when you collect your diploma, please savour the moment. Do not rush off before your picture has been taken and your family and friends have a chance to appreciate the moment. I now call on Miss Park, Mr. Howard, Miss Highbine and Miss Larson. Would the first row of students please stand?
Gabriella Oluwadara Ardelsbaka.
Dara. Dara is planning on studying biochemistry in the UK. She would like to thank her teachers for their support and her best friends for their treasured memories. She would also like to give special thanks to her family who have put up with her these past couple of years and wishes the best of luck to all her classmates in their future endeavours.
Alina Abdul Majid.
Alina is grateful for her family, teachers and friends for always supporting her. She would especially like to thank her parents who went out of their way to give her the strength to strive towards her goals. Today would not be possible if it weren't for these people in her life who inspired her to persevere.
Paolo Bazzucci.
No.
Oh, sorry. Saeed Tarek Al-Sai.
Saeed would like to thank his family, teachers and friends at ISS for making his time here so memorable. He is grateful for the experiences he has gained during his time here and looks forward to the next chapter in his life.
Paolo Bazzucci.
Paolo is grateful to have spent 2 years at ISS, where he really understood the quotation, "When you find a friend, you find a treasure." He hopes that all the treasures he found will be with him in the future experiences, including his next year in Spain. Paolo is grateful to the teachers he's had for some lessons of the life that they taught him.
Antara Chatterjee.
Antara is hoping to study at NTNU next year and would like to thank all her girlfriends for some of the best 8 years she has had. She wishes them all laughter and happiness that they have given her. She would also like to thank her teachers, especially Miss Kosher, Mr. Jelinek, Miss Landis, Mr. Williams, and finally Miss Sauji. Lastly, she would like to thank her family for allowing her to only have the best of memories for the last 18 years.
Diego Cortez Gutierrez.
Diego would like to thank family and friends for helping him to get where he's at. He's planning to continue playing music and furthering his studies in the future.
Lucas Antonio Cuevas Guiardo.
Lucas is thankful for all the support and encouragement from his friends, family, and teachers throughout his final years of high school. He wishes everyone from the graduating class all the best in their future endeavours.
Parker Alexander Cunningham.
Parker joined ISS later than most, and he faced many challenges along the way. He feels as though if he were presented with the choice to attend ISS like he did, he would choose ISS again. Parker will be attending CU Boulder next year and wishes all of the people he met at ISS the best of luck moving forward.
Gabriel Corsini de Lucas.
Gabriel wishes to thank the teachers that have supported him throughout these past 2 years at ISS and that were always there when he needed them. He might not have shown the best interest in their subjects, but he appreciates all the clarifications and chances they gave him. A big shout out to his friends as well. Without them, he wouldn't have been able to push through these 2 years without going insane. He appreciates all the time that they have helped him and explained things to him and helped him to succeed and get this diploma. For all the laughs and good times together, he will be forever grateful. Thanks to you all.
Pavan Ravidev.
Pavan is grateful for the experiences he was fortunate enough to have during his 6 years at ISS with his friends, family, and teachers. He hopes to continue to create these experiences even as he moves back to his hometown in Perth, Australia, and pursues his higher education there.
Elias Alistair Bakkafjord Fagervik.
Elias wants to thank his family, teachers and friends for an amazing last 2 years at ISS. Elias will be joining the Norwegian Navy for 1 year and then will be attending the University of Arizona in the US. Thank you, ISS, for everything.
Pavel Sergeyevich Fyaktikstov.
Being at ISS for over 11 years, Pavel would like to offer his utmost gratitude to all his friends, teachers and family. He is truly thankful for all the support and will treasure his years at ISS. Moving on to further studies, Pavel is excited to study politics in London and embark upon a year studying abroad in Japan.
Michelle Renee Akinyi Ebenfeld.
Michelle wants to thank all of the teachers and her family that have helped and pushed her in the past 2 years and the lifelong friendships she's made along the way. Before commencing her higher education in Amsterdam for business psychology, she plans to spend a few months traveling and making even more wonderful memories.
Fatima Jaffrey.
Fatima is thankful for all those who guided and supported her throughout the years, and she is especially grateful for her friends who made her high school experience an unforgettable one.
Rihanna Gillescu.
13 years is a lot of memories to have about one place, and this will be Rihanna's last one at ISS. This school was her childhood, and she'll be sorry to leave it and those teachers that have made a difference. One who introduced her to books, one who constantly challenged her to impress them, one who laughed when she climbed onto the school roof, and one who scolded her for making a box out of her feedback. She thanks them all for leading her to where she is today.
Caitlin Francesca Jones.
Caitlin is grateful for the 13 memorable years she spent at ISS. She would like to thank her teachers, family and friends for these past years. She's planning on studying business with Spanish at university.
Erica Bergeland Schoss.
Erica hopes to study medicine in the fall. Erica would like to thank her family, her mum, dad and Kaya, and her teachers for their support and encouragement. She'd also like to thank her lovely friends for all the times shared here at ISS.
Adam Kocher.
Adam is very thankful for the time he spent at ISS through primary, middle, and high school, and he will hold many memories from these years close to his heart. He would like to thank his family and friends and teachers for helping him throughout his schooling years. Adam is looking forward to studying sports management next year in the UK.
Louise Oslin Lexo.
Louise plans to start studying at the University of Oslo this fall. She wishes the best for her classmates and all the family, teachers and friends who have supported her.
Hein Christian Mayland.
Hein would like to thank his friends and family for supporting him these past few years. He also appreciates the help and guidance his teachers have given him through his academic journey, especially Miss Couture, who has spent countless study blocks answering millions of questions. Hein wishes his fellow classmates all the best in their future endeavours.
Hirad Malaklu.
Hirad would like to thank everyone for their time and for all the memories and moments we've created together. He doesn't know quite where he's going to end up as he writes this, but he hopes it is very far away from Hein. Either way, he wishes everyone good luck in whatever they end up doing.
Masiva Mokhtari.
Masiva would like to thank her family, best friends and teachers for all of the support they've given her this last year. She is finally going to retire after her fun 14 years at ISS. Masiva hopes to study business in Copenhagen this fall and wishes her classmates all the best in the future.
Benjamin Morrow.
While Ben plans to study product design next year, his most significant lesson here was the immense value of the connections he's made, for being sources of inspiration, guidance, support, a good laugh, and even the occasional well-placed insult. Ben would like to express his deep gratitude to the friends, family, and teachers who've helped him grow into a slightly less misanthropic misanthrope.
Chloe Simone Muller.
Chloe would like to thank her father for the immense support, her mother for her care and patience, and one of her closest friends, Amelia, for making these years bearable. Thank you to everyone for the memories, and she wishes everyone all the best.
Catherine Ortiz Muñez.
Catherine is grateful for the 3 memorable years she spent at ISS and all the wisdom shared throughout her stay. These new experiences brought her to learn about different cultures and to meet lifelong friends. Next year, she is attending the University of Mary Hardin Baylor in Texas, focusing on occupational therapy. She wants to thank her family and friends for the support.
Chiara Ortiz Muñez.
Chiara's plan for next year is to study nursing in Texas. She would like to thank all her classmates and family for a wonderful and memorable experience in ISS and Norway, and wishes everyone the best of luck in their future plans.
Mariangeli Ortiz Muñez.
Mariangeli is looking forward to attending Albizu University in Puerto Rico, where she will study psychology in the coming years. She is grateful for all the support of her family, friends, and teachers, and especially for all the memories created at ISS that she would carry with her for a lifetime. She is very excited to see what the future holds.
Zoe Angeline Ovens.
Zoe would like to thank her family, friends, and teachers for all of their encouragement and support throughout the years. Next school year, she hopes to attend the University of Nottingham in the UK, where she will be studying law.
Kinga Agnieszka Piśniak.
Kinga wants to thank her family, friends and teachers for getting her through these past 4 years at ISS and helping her every step of the way. She is grateful for all these wonderful memories that were made at ISS, and she is going to miss all the amazing people she met. Next year, she is looking forward to studying dentistry at Warsaw Medical University.
Finn Lassa Rabba.
Finn is very grateful for the years he's had at ISS, and he wants to thank his parents for supporting him throughout the way. Finn learned many life lessons during his time at ISS, and will be able to use what he's learned in the future trying to enter politics in Germany.
Luka Rangelovic.
Luca is planning to study mechanical engineering in Germany next year and would like to thank his family and friends for being so supportive throughout his time at ISS. He will never forget all of the wonderful people he has met along the way.
David Alexander Sauter.
Alex would like to thank all his teachers, friends and family for the support they've given him throughout the years. His academic journey has spanned 4 countries and 3 continents, and he is looking forward to becoming an active member of the international community and studying law.
Nora Rose Squires.
Nora will be studying in the US next year. She would like to thank her teachers and classmates for the past 4 years. Nora would also like to thank her friends for all the times that they have shared together. And finally, Nora would like to thank her family for the support she has received throughout her life.
August Parsborg Stula.
August would like to thank his family, friends and teachers for all their kindness and support throughout these last 10 years at ISS. He wishes all of his classmates the best of luck with their future endeavours and hopes that they can all provide him a small piece of the fortunes they are sure to make in the future in exchange for his friendship over the years.
Reese Andreas Tendenes.
Reese would like to thank his parents, family, friends, and the extended ISS community for the support he has received and the memories he has formed over his 13 years at ISS. He looks forward to attending university in Norway later this year and would like to wish his graduating class the best of luck for the future.
Ayumide Akitinumide Togen.
Mide would like to thank his teachers, friends and family for shaping him into the better, more confident person he has become. Thanks to their support, he will be going to MIT to continue his studies, continuing to take any chances that he gets and trusting that God will keep on guiding him through the journeys to come.
Dimitrios Tsirgotis.
Dimitrios' plans for the next year are a Greek language and literature examination and then university studies involving computer science. He would like to thank his parents for bringing him to Norway, thank his friends for giving him new perspectives of life, and thank his teachers and ISS for being supportive with his mental issues. He wishes the class of 2023 prosperous lives as they will all take different directions. He also wishes for everyone to have kindness and humility in their lives, even if rough days don't feel like it.
Iris Vandergiesen.
Iris would like to thank her family and friends for all the love and support they've given her throughout her school years. She wishes all of her classmates the best of luck in the future and wishes to thank them for all of the wonderful memories they've created here at ISS.
Sofia Volkova.
Sophia is planning to study mathematics and physics in the UK. She wants to thank her family, friends, and teachers for all their support, time, and guidance. She also wants to specifically thank her girls, Erica, Masiva, Antara, Nora, and Dara, for everything.
Eva Maria Weinbender.
Ava is planning to study biology at the University of Ottawa in Canada. She would like to thank all her friends and teachers who've made these few years at ISS a memorable experience.
Natalia Veltz.
Natalia would like to thank all her teachers, friends, and family for these wise insights and perspectives they gave her throughout the years. She's keen to explore our world, and in the future, she hopes to design meaningful places to enrich it. She wishes everyone good luck in their careers and hopes she'll meet many of you again in the future.
Alejandra Yerla Calderin.
Alejandra's plan for next year is to study law in Spain at CEU University. She would like to thank all of her classmates and family for a wonderful, memorable experience here at ISS in Norway, and wishes everyone the best of luck for their future.
Joshua Emily Yu.
Emilia would like to thank her parents for the motivation and support throughout these years, and her friends and fellow classmates for a memorable high school experience. She would especially like to thank Chloe for all the laughs and good times. She wishes everyone the best of luck with their own endeavors.
Lorraine Ostabo Diaz.
Lorraine is grateful for the memorable experiences and wisdom shared at ISS, and wants to thank her family and friends for being supportive, caring, and thoughtful throughout the years. Next year, she's planning to attend university in Florida and wishes the best of luck to her fellow classmates.
Graduates, please all stand. At this point, I would like the graduating class of 2023 to move the tassel on their cap with their left hand from right to left. This practice is a visual indication that the students can now claim title to the diploma that they have earned. Graduates, you may be seated. The valedictorian at ISS is awarded to the student with the highest academic standing in the entire graduating class. The valedictorian offers the closing words of wisdom to their peers as they graduate and head off to the next stage in their lives. Yesterday, at the high school end-of-year celebration, this year's valedictorian, Reese Tenderness, was the recipient of the ECIS Award for International Understanding, with particular focus on his commitment and support for the Model United Nations program at ISS. Not only has he been a key member of the MUN team, but he is one of a very few select students over the years who has been awarded the honour of a place on the Executive Council for the MUN conference in The Hague. Like the salutatorian, Reese has also attended ISS from kindergarten to 12th grade. Throughout these years, Reese has been a hard-working student, excelling in a broad range of academic subjects, but also finds time to develop his skills as a drummer, which was demonstrated at the baccalaureate ceremony on Tuesday evening, where he entertained as part of the wonderful high school band, Banks. He has shown a commitment to making the world a better place through his involvement in the high school climate change action group, and his teachers describe him as a strong spokesperson, a supportive team player, and a leader who is universally respected in our ISS community. Reese is hoping to continue his education at NTNU in Trondheim next year. Please welcome this year's valedictorian, Reese Tenderness.
Parents, family members, teachers, board members, and most importantly, the class of 2023. Some of us sat in those theater seats for the first time when we still had morning meetings and were asked to sit crisscross applesauce on the carpet, while others joined in the middle of a time filled with internal assessments, an extended essay, and mostly poor sleep. However, a fair share of us have known each other for a very long time and have countless memories together. Even this room holds history. I still vividly recall an assembly rehearsal in what I think was first grade, where a kid named Augusto, who was quite the character, jumped off this very stage like a superhero, landing smack on his stomach on the floor below. Luckily, he was okay. As we got older, we naturally formed our own groups. There were small quarrels and drama here and there, as is natural in high school, but there's always been an underlying sense of camaraderie that is hard to find elsewhere. Believe it or not, in middle school, we were labeled as a somewhat troublesome grade due to our, quote, bad attitude that we displayed in our classes. Looking back, I don't think it was as much of a bad attitude. I think it was more of a willingness to challenge established figures of authority and question the ways by which things are done. A characteristic that I hope we bring with us to a world that desperately needs people to speak up. As we grew up, it was interesting to hear about people's goals for the future, what field they wanted to work in, where they wanted to study. There were those who had their paths mapped out from the beginning, knowing exactly what they wanted to do in the next stage of life. Then there were those who were a little clueless, making their final decisions right before the deadline. What I find to be universal across the spectrum is the uncertainty related to making this final decision. It is hard to know exactly what you want to do with your life, and I'm not going to say that I have the answer. But I think a lot is gained from the phrase, det är ingen skam att snö, which translates into, there is no shame in turning around. Those of you that have spent plenty of times outdoors or have eaten one too many quick lunch chocolates may recognize this phrase from Fjällvettreglene, a set of recommendations on how to act in the mountains. However, I find it to be applicable to other aspects of life. We are, without a doubt, going to face difficulties in our future journeys, and we can't be expected to get everything right on the first try. Sometimes, the best you can do is stop, go back, and try something new. In the end, you'll end up finding what is right. With our current perspective, our futures are unpredictable. No one really knows what is out there. It is like we were caught in a thick fog. You're just able to make out the silhouettes of your surroundings, but it is impossible to see the details. We will all go on to pursue different things, taking part in different adventures that will take us across the globe. However, what we share in common are our experiences over the last few years. I was fortunate enough to spend 13 years at the school, having the opportunity to spend plenty of time alongside those sat on the stage. I will always remember our outdoor lunches on the field, early MUN sessions, weekly band practices, and fishing trips, and I think I will look back on my time at ISS in a particularly positive light. These 13 years were made a lot easier by the support of my parents, who motivated me to pursue my academic interests and taught me to enjoy learning. They also encouraged me to pursue other hobbies outside of school, such as music and being outdoors, which helped me achieve a fairly balanced lifestyle. Of course, I also need to recognize my teachers. None of us would be up on the stage without them. And I do not just mean the teachers that we've had for the last few years. I mean all the teachers that have contributed to our learning and experiences at the school. Once you are finished and can look back with a certain degree of hindsight, you realize that even some of the teachers you disagreed with had an active role in improving your learning. Sometimes someone had to play the bad cop in order for things to be done in time. Events like these are always a little melancholic. Returning to the primary school library before the baccalaureate opened the floodgates on many childhood memories that I thought I had long forgotten. I remember getting my email for the first time in what used to be a dark, depressing, artificially lit computer lab that was situated next to the primary library. Seeing the 23 in front of my name and thinking that 2023 was in an eternity. But finally being here feels exciting, yet surreal. However, we also must recognize that it is most likely one of the last times we will all be gathered together on this campus. And for some of us, it may be a long time until we see each other again. I am fairly young for my class, and when I first joined ISS, there were some considerations of if I should drop down a grade. No offense to the current 11th graders, some of which I know are in the room, but I am so glad to be able to graduate alongside my amazing peers. Class of 2023, I'm so grateful for the memories we have formed over the years and to be graduating alongside you all today. I look forward to seeing you in the future and hearing about the places you've been, the experiences you have had, and the new things you have learned along the way. Now, let's cherish the last few days we have together, forming new memories before we all go off on our own adventures. There are great things in store for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhys, for such a poignant and thoughtful speech. Class of 2023, as Rhys says, cherish the last memories you have together as a class before you head off for your own adventures. We have no doubt that there are great things in store for you. So that leaves us with only one thing to do. Graduates, if you could please stand. Parents, friends, and distinguished guests, if you could please stand. And whether you're in the theatre here tonight or wherever you are around the world, I give you the class of 2023. Good music.
Ladies and gents, there's refreshments outside, and remember the back doors are open if you want to get some fresh air. Thank you to our Board of Governors for coming along this evening, and to our parents and guests and everybody live streaming. Have a great summer. Thank you.